Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and today I'm going to show you how to make the single crochet. So as you can see here, this is a row of single crochet. So this is the front and this is the back. So let's go ahead and make one. So I have shown you how to make a slip knot and pull it tight. We're not going to make any stitch into that slip knot. And then from here I'm going to chain 12. I have also shown you how to make one, and you can go ahead and check that one. Here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12. So I've chained 12 because my plan is to make 12 single crochets. But we have got an issue because on the 12th chain we cannot make a stitch. It's because the loop on our hook is in that chain. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an extra chain, which is called the base chain. So normally this base chain is counted as a stitch. For the single crochet, we're not going to count it as one. The 12th chain here is ready to receive a stitch. It becomes the second chain from the hook. So this one is not counted as a stitch. So we count it as 1, 2. So it's the second chain from the hook. And let's go ahead and make one now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert my hook into the top loop of the chain on the 12th chain, or the second chain from the hook. And then I'm going to yarn over and then pull it through that loop. So make sure you have your 2 loops within the gauge of your crochet hook before we pull another loop. So let's go ahead. So yarn over, pull it through the 2 loops on the hook. And that's it. This is our first single crochet. So that chain 1 there that we just did will not be counted as a stitch. So we have the first stitch on our first row. And to do the next one, so into the chain, I'm going to insert my hook. I'm taking the top loop of that chain, I'm going to yarn over, pull it through. I've got 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull it through the 2 loops on the hook. So that's our second single crochet. So let's do it again. Insert your hook through the top loop of that chain. So this is just one method of inserting your hook. So we're using the top loop of our chain stitch. And now I'm going to yarn over, pull it through, yarn over and pull it through the 2 loops on the hook. Now we've got 3 single crochets. I'm going to do it again. Insert your hook, yarn over and pull it through. I've got 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull it through the 2 loops on the hook. So that's the description of a single crochet. So I'm going ahead and finish the row. Okay, we're almost there. As you can see here, we've got the slip knot here at the very last, and then we've got this very first chain here, and this will be the last stitch that we are going to work on. So let's take a look. So this is our first row of single crochet. So I plan to make the 12 single crochets, and let's count it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And remember that chain 1 that we have added earlier will not be counted as a stitch. So let's study the single crochet or each stitch. So each stitch has this chain looking at the top of the stitch. So it's like a V stitch on top of it. So that is counted as a stitch. So that is your reference that that is a stitch. So this one, this V shape here, is for this stitch, for the last stitch. And then this one will be on the second stitch here. And as you can see, there are 12 of them here. So let's take a look at the back. So the back of the single crochet is like this, and you can visibly see a hole. So that V stitch on top of the stitch creates that hole. So there should be 12 of them as well. And that is where we are going to work on our next row. So let's go ahead and continue with the next row. So let's insert our hook back into the loop. So make sure this working yarn here is at the front of your crochet hook, just like this. Just for best practice. So now we're going to chain 1, and this will not be counted as a stitch. And then I'm going to turn my work this way. So since that is not counted as a stitch, we can make a stitch into our first stitch here. I'm going to insert my hook into that hole all the way through. As you can see, it takes the 2 loops there of that stitch. Now I'm going to yarn over and pull it through that 2 loops there. Now I've got 2 loops on my hook, and then yarn over, pull it through the 2 loops on the hook. So that's our first single crochet on our second row. So let's go ahead and try again. So I'm going to insert my hook into that hole all the way through, taking 2 loops, the 2 top loops of that stitch, yarn over and pull it through. I've got 2 loops on my hook, and then yarn over and pull it through the 2 loops on the hook. So that's the standard way of making the single crochet, taking the 2 loops of that stitch. So let's try again. There you are, and then I'm going to continue all the way through. So making sure that your loops are within the gauge of your crochet hook, not too tight and not too loose. So I'm using 6mm crochet hook for this chunky yarn, and this is the recommended crochet hook for this yarn. So with a single crochet, since it's too small, too short, it tends to go spirally like this, but it's fine. Once you finish the row, you can just pull it a little bit and it will straighten out. So until it gains a little bit more of height, and this will be flat as well, as long as your stitches are the same count on the second row as well. So it doesn't matter whether it is the same count or not, depending on your pattern, but as soon as the single crochet receives a bit of height, your pattern will straighten out. So I should have 12 single crochets here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And remember, the chain that we added at the beginning is not counted as a stitch. And if you will check this stitch here at the back, so your last stitch must be on that hole here. Let's take a look so you know. So that will be your last stitch and not on that chain one there. Okay, let's try it. So as you can see, this is the wrong way. I'm going to take it up and put it the right way. I'm going to chain one again. So why am I chaining one before I make the stitch? It's because if I turn it, I cannot truly make a stitch, and it will be hard for us to make a stitch on the fourth row to find this stitch. So it's better to chain one, turn, and make your first stitch there. This is kind of best practice as well, so you will find it in many patterns. So I'm just continuing here, and I want to show you that the last stitch is there. And for this row, we should also have 12 single crochets. And then if you are planning to make a square pattern, make sure that your stitches are the same from the first row to the very last row that you are making. And this will make your edges straight as well. So this is the last one, not this one. So just a top tip. So if you are confused, before you make your last stitch, you can count your stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we only count the V on top of the stitches. And there you have it. This is our single crochet. So I'll see you next time for the double crochet, or perhaps the half double crochet. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.